I mean, look, we did miss last week's show. We got to do quick hit it, dude. We can't talk about it 2 weeks ago. It's your MMA wrap.
I'm sorry, I don't get to talk about a huge event because you had to put your dog to sleep that week.
Oh, dude.
You couldn't have let him suffer for one more week?
Dude, you know what would have been a way better way to put him to sleep? Just have Michael Chandler front kick him directly in his face.
Oh, I thought you were going to say just watch the Rose Namajunas Carlo Esperanza fight until he killed himself.
I don't know. There's a lot of ways from that night where we could have killed sport.
After watching that fight, that Michael Chandler kick seems like a blessing. Seems like the nicest thing you could do to me.
I mean, look, all right, big news 2 weeks ago now. Charles Oliveira defeats Justin Gaichi. Missed weight going into the fight. There is no title holder. Is there an update, Vic, on what they're doing about this title situation?
Justin Oliveira is the number one contender.
Justin,
the number one contender.
He said just that Oliveira is the number one contender.
Oh, okay. Oliver's number one. Okay.
Khabib said the thing about how he should fight fucking what's his name? Islam. Which, you know, he was like he should do it in Abu Dhabi for the belt. And I gotta say, that does sound like a pretty goddamn good idea.
Is Islam the next guy in line?
I mean, I don't know who the fuck else is the next guy in line. The fight that makes sense is Khabib, but Khabib's not going to come back and fight him. That fight is really compelling now.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I got to think that he should be the next guy in line, right? I think this clears everybody out.
What are the rankings?
Well, Oliveira now beat Poirier, he beat Justin Gaichi, he beat Michael Chandler. Who the fuck else is there?
Let me tell you something. There is no title. It wouldn't even be crazy, and I bet you they do this. I bet you they fucking throw Conor in there. Because now they can justify it. There's no title holder. It's a big fight.
Look, that'd be fine. I guess
for Oliveira, here's the thing. Here's why I don't have a problem when they do that. Because you're going to make Oliveira a fucking very rich man. You take all of that steam from, because I don't really like Conor. I don't really give a shit about Conor.
Oliveira also, by the way, there was a great video about, I watched Chael Sonnen breaking this down, and I never even really thought about it like this. But Chael Sonnen goes, Charles Oliveira lost at least $2.5 million by fucking missing weight by half a pound. Which, feel however you feel about him missing weight by half a pound. I don't know how perfect those scales are. I've heard people make arguments. Yeah. But just to, I can fucking sympathize with losing. And he broke it down basically where he's like, okay, well, he doesn't get pay-per-view buys for this fight now. And he doesn't get pay-per-view buys for the next fight now. He lost 2 fights of pay-per-view buys.
And that was a massive pay-per-view.
Plus, there's some sponsorship money. There's fight purse cuts and stuff. And he goes, so he
lost 20% of his purse on top of it.
Listen, he goes, this is minimum $2.5 million he just lost for half a pound on the scale. So it would kind of be nice for, and I just feel like I don't give a shit about that. And I feel like some fucking states let you go a pound over. He just happened to be in one where they didn't let him go
for the title. They'll let you go a pound over in certain states.
Yeah, GSP was a pound over when he fought Nick Diaz. And that was a bit it's. I've seen it happen before, so it's just so arbitrary to me anyway.
Well, I think. Look, I made this point the night of it. I'm like, they fucking just handed Ronda Rousey a title.
Oh yeah, that was a really good point.
She came in, right? And I get that she was the champion of what was it? Strikeforce or fucking whatever it was, right?
Strikeforce.
I don't care. I got to be honest with you. I don't fucking care. You handed her a made-up title. It never existed. She never won it from anybody. She didn't beat anybody in the UFC. She didn't have a single UFC fight, and you handed her a title. So when you have a guy that misses weight by a half a pound, when it's a fairly arbitrary rule, when you know there's some fuckery going on with the scales, he wasn't the only fighter to say that. There was multiple fighters that night that came out and said there was something going on with the scale. I would just make the executive decision. Thank you very much, Dildo. What type of whiskey is this?
Same one, whiskey.
What?
Angel's
Envy?
Yeah, you know you have a stash, right?
I have a stash of Angel's Envy.
You made Blind Mike go get another bottle of the same.
Fuck.
So you have 2 stashes.
Lewis just keeps reliving a Groundhog's Day where he makes you go to the store and get whiskey and then tells you to hide it. Hide it somewhere where even I will never suspect.
All right, look, we can't spend too much more time on this. A sponsor, Carlos Esparza defeats Rose Namajunas via split decision. It was terrible.
I'm going to say this, and I don't think anything even comes close. It was the worst fight in the history of the UFC. I've seen really boring fights before. I've never seen one this bad.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like people were going easy on them a little bit on it. Like they were getting shit, but it's almost kind of like, I saw people online who were kind of like, oh, this is Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero all over again and shit. And you're like,
no.
that fight was a million times better than
there was
this
moments
fight.
in that
There was
fight.
moments. It
And
wasn't a good
yeah.
fight. It was a boring fight. There were moments. There were 0 moments in this entire fight. And I got to say, dude, it was all on Rose Namajunas. I couldn't believe it. Like, look, this chick couldn't take her down.
Yeah.
She fucking, like, she stuffed a bunch of the takedowns. And there's a certain point in the fight where she was almost saying after the fight, she's like, oh, really? You win the title like that? And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. Do something. Get aggressive. Risk it in one of the rounds. She wouldn't even like blitz her in the last 20 seconds of the round.
Yeah.
Where even if she takes you down, she's not going to submit you. You're scared she submitted you the first time.
Well, it was
What's
and then what won the fight was the minimal control on the takedowns, walking her down in the octagon. It was like
well,
Carlos
there's
Esparza.
nothing. It's a toss-up. The thing is, like, you could.
Well,
Kind
I thought Carla won the fight.
Well, look, you could kind of say, you can understand where someone's frozen when they're afraid of getting knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
It's like you're worried she's going to take you down and submit you. At a certain point, it's like, dude, fucking go for it. I don't know. It's not that scary of a prospect.
All right. Regardless, it happened 2 weeks ago.
Yo! Oh my God!